Hello and welcome back to another video, or welcome to my channel if you are new here and have just found me. My name is Rachel and I'm currently just filming a series of hiking through the Cotswolds, or at least the surrounding area of the Cotswolds, and I'm just talking about a few different topics about travel, so hit that subscribe if you want to follow along. But today's walk is starting from Painswick in a circular about 8.5 mile loop up to the beacon, round through Edge, and then back round to Painswick. And I'm just heading up to Painswick Beacon at the moment, which is a long, slow uphill climb from the village. But it's lovely. It's like no one else around. But today I wanted to talk a bit about how I go about actually finding people to travel with, so I'm not 100% solo, and other options that you guys can take so that you're not 100% solo. There are a couple of different ways of doing it. Some are a bit more expensive than others, so whatever fits into your budget or what you kind of want to get out of something. So this walk itself isn't the easiest of hikes if you've not done too much hiking or walking. It's about 8.5 miles. Starts off, as I said, in the village of Painswick, and you've got like a slow uphill walk to the beacon. It goes through the golf course, which does flatten out a little bit, but as you can tell, I'm out of breath. But as you get closer and closer to the beacon, it gets a lot more steeper and very steep at the end, up to the top of the beacon. And then there's a couple more little hills throughout. But then at the end, before you get back into the village of Painswick, there's a really long, steep uphill climb along the road back up to the car park. Views up here are always amazing. So for those of you that are new here, I like to travel a lot, or as much as I can, sort of around my job at the moment, and I do a lot of that solo. So I've spoken about sort of my future plans and why I travel solo in my previous videos, so you can look at them or watch them. I also post a lot of travel tips, itineraries, guides, recommendations, tips on like solo travel and how to go about just getting into it, because it is scary. And that's over on my Instagram and my TikTok, which is the same handle, Postcards from Rachel, but it will be linked in the description, so if you want to go and check those out, then please do. But anywho, I wanted to talk about ways that you can go about traveling solo but not be 100% solo, but not all of the time. So the ways that I've gone about it this past year is I have found a Facebook group. It's called Gals Who Travel, for girls who are looking for female travel buddies as well. So there are lots of Facebook groups. I think there's like the Travel Squad. There's a couple more if you do a bit of research. Oh my god. There were a load of, I think they were pheasants, grouse maybe, like probably 6 or 7. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me. And you can literally just put a post up and say, I'm planning to do this. Either you've already got something booked or you've got something specific that you want to do, just sort of put a post up saying where and when you're planning to travel, maybe just who you are as a travel person, because people travel differently. I'm a budget traveller, I'm not a big foodie, I'm not worried about eating out in fancy restaurants all the time. I'll happily live off pot noodles, eat sandwiches from the shop, but not everybody's going to want to do that. Also, so you want to find someone that sort of matches up with your travel style, otherwise you'll probably have some issues and disagreements with a couple of things. The Facebook groups work really well if you want to find people before you go out on your travels, so you have that kind of safety net that you're not going completely on your own and you're going to have to like start a conversation with people like in hostels or something like that. You already are going with somebody, it gives you a chance to get to know them. For me, because I struggled with social anxiety and things in the past, still do a little bit now, so much better. Kind of feel like I need to get to know someone a little bit and just feel a little bit more comfortable with them, or ideally anyway. Another way is, if you're brave enough just to go out, stay in hostels, stay in social hostels, so you actually come into contact with lots of people who are probably most likely also travelling solo and also looking for people to go and travel with. Who doesn't love a tree tunnel? But anyway, another way that you can travel solo is going with like a group tour that's already organised. So there's a couple of different companies that I've come across just from doing my research. I'll pop them all up on the screen. They're all targeted for different people or different type of travellers. You've got ones that are maybe for older people, so a bit more slower, a selection of activities that are probably more suitable for older people. You've then got other ones that are obviously suitable for young people, tend to be sort of party vibes and things like that. So you just need to do a bit of research into these companies and find what's actually involved in these trips and who is it targeted at, because you don't want to join one of these groups and find that it's just not your vibe. Party is not my vibe. I travel to meet people, explore new countries, and actually spend time exploring the countries. Joining a tour company group that has already got a tour and itinerary planned out is great if you're particularly wanting to travel somewhere that you might not be comfortable with doing by yourself and not sure how to go about it. Places like Egypt, maybe I would do that, and Morocco as well, places where I wouldn't feel safe in a solo or even just a small group. You could also join a group for volunteering. So my actual first ever solo trip was volunteering in South Africa on a game reserve for a month. First time I ever flew. I was 21 and I flew all the way to South Africa all by myself. I was naive on what to expect, so I think that's why I was brave enough to actually do it. Thankfully I don't mind flying, I quite enjoy it, and I quite enjoy turbulence because I know it's completely normal. But I stayed with a group of volunteers, which was terrifying, but I met some amazing people and I miss it so much. I had an amazing time. But I stayed in one place. I didn't necessarily travel around, but I had good fun volunteering on this reserve. And with most volunteering opportunities, you still need to pay to be there. So again, this one is just like the tour, organised tour is, it depends what your budget is, because those are obviously going to be pricey, but then it takes out all the planning and everything for these trips, so just make it a bit easier. But volunteering is great, it's really rewarding, and it might be a good way to start off a trip. Like the tour company as well, they usually last for maybe about 2 weeks, generally a week, not much more than that. So you can potentially find some people who are wanting to travel afterwards. I might try and do this with my gap year I'm planning to take, which I talk about a bit more on the first video. But I might start off doing with a tour to hopefully find some people who want to travel the country for a little bit longer period of time. Okay, so from a distance I saw a yellow field. I didn't really think much of it, I just assumed the rapeseed oil. Now it's occurred to me that that is in May and June time, so it's not. And I've just seen what it is, and any family members or people who know about my sunflower tattoo will understand why I'm excited about this. It's a field of sunflowers. Obviously the sun is that direction, so they're all facing that way. But look at them all. A field of sunflowers. Now if you know the confetti fields in Wick, the delphinium flowers, if you know if you like flower fields and things like that, you'll know of the confetti fields. One year, a couple years ago, I think it was 2021, they had a sunflower field, best sunflower field I've seen to date still. This one's impressive, this is obviously private, but the public footpath comes past here. Oh, it's just so beautiful. I'm not going to get into why this is significant for me now, but well, that was a pleasant surprise. Goodbye, sunflowers. So beautiful. We have got to one of my least favourite parts of this walk, which is a path which literally runs down along a stream. The path is basically the stream. So when it's rained a bit, there's usually quite a bit of water. And it's rained a lot recently. So we'll see how this goes. This walk is nice to do in summer. The problem is this getting overgrown. And I keep getting bugs in my eyes. Love that. I think someone's cut this back because all of this would literally be like a tiny, tiny, tiny little path through, and you'd be like squeezing yourself through. So you absolutely need to wear some proper walking shoes when you do this, like particularly if it's been around the time that there's been a bit of rain or anything, because this path is a bit of a stream and you've got a lot of stones, and some of them will be loose and roll under your feet. The last thing you need to do is sprain your ankle. It's a pretty pathetic stream. It's not much. Oh, this field is particularly soggy today, but the first time I came and did this walk, I think it was June time, a couple of years ago. Beautiful sunny weather, and this field was full of daisies, and I sat down and got some really cute pictures on Instagram. If I can find them, I'll put them up here or somewhere. But speaking of Instagram, as I mentioned before, I talk a lot about my solo travel tips, guides, recommendations, things like that. Currently it's all based around European travel, just because I'm also UK based and it's easy and fairly cheap to fly to Europe, and I can do it in a long weekend. But I've just finished a load of content on Copenhagen, and I've done Lisbon, Mykonos. I've been to Edinburgh, but I haven't posted too much about it. And a lot of my posts revolve around Italy because I'm obsessed, and I spent 2 months there nearly this time last year. So I'm heading back into Italy content a little bit at the moment, and I have another trip to Italy in October to Lake Garda. So if you've been to Lake Garda or have any useful tips or recommendations, then let me know. So I made it to the top of that hill, and I've somehow got to make it do this to that style. I said parts of this path get overgrown. Singing nettles, and I can feel the singing nettles through my leggings, so wish me luck. Oh. Oh, ah. and have a little wander around Edge. There are just some nice old Cotswold cottages. And then you go past the town hall and into someone's farm. There's more. It's like a bloody maze. Doesn't help that I'm short and these are nearly as tall as me. So I'm having to improvise a little bit, and I did eventually manage to find a spot where I got some signal so I could use my Google Maps just to have a look where I can go. But I know Painswick is up over there, so I'm heading in that direction. But I know I'm meant to go through Pinchcombe, which is kind of off to the left, and then have to do a big loop back round. I don't think I'm going to be able to go as far as Pinchcombe. I'm going to have to cut across a lot farther over. And looking at Google Maps, I can join the path, the last little bit that runs along a river, the bottom end of Painswick. It's a shame it's cut out a nice part of the walk, but there's no other way of getting to where I want to go because it's through quite a few fields, and I don't think there's any other public footpaths that meet up with that. That's probably one of my favourite parts of the walk, and there's beautiful old Cotswold buildings. We did miss another one because we've had to take a detour. Trying to just beat the rain, and currently it is still beautiful blue sky that way, but behind me it doesn't look great. It's meant to rain from 1, and I don't know what time it is now, but it is gone 11 at least, so we should hopefully beat the rain. So I've literally managed to arrive back to the car just as it was starting to rain, so that was perfect timing. Oh, that long hill at the end kills me every time, but that is the end of the walk for today. So thank you very much for watching another video. If you have any questions regarding like traveling solo or anything that I've spoken about today in terms of how to go and find travel buddies so you're not 100% solo, leave me a comment and I will try and answer your questions. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something as well. Don't forget to follow my TikTok and Instagram as well for more recommendations, tips, guides, all of that fun stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.